Denji vs Tanjiro, Devil Hunter vs Demon Slayer. These are two characters that could not be less alike, and today we're putting them up against each other in a battle to take it all. So let's brandish that sword, rev up those engines, and see who would win. And if you're also a weirdo who cares about who would win in a fictional fight like I do, be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel because we do that here sometimes. So let's set the stage. After losing everything to the King of Demons, Muzan Kibutsuji, Tanjiro joined the Demon Slayer Corps, an organization that slays demons. A feat made possible with the aid of sun-soaked Nichiren swords and powerful sword techniques called breath styles. With proper training and breath control, Tanjiro can drastically improve his physical capabilities, and coupled with breathing styles, he became a skilled swordsman. He later became a user of the Hinokami Kagura, or sun breathing, the original breath style and one that allows Tanjiro to gain an incredible burst of speed and power, along with the various techniques that it provides. Even early in the series, this was enough to overpower Daki, a high-ranking demon that cut through multiple houses like they were made of paper. Also aiding him in battle is his incredible sense of smell. It is in fact so good that not only can he smell when there's an opening of attack that will let him win the fight, he can also smell his opponent's next attacks, basically giving him precognition. If you haven't seen the show before and feel like that's a bit strange, don't worry, you aren't missing any context. That is just really weird. And it gave him movements comparable to the strongest demon slayers of his time, the Hashira, and that's not the end of what he can do either as the series goes on. Now on the other side of the ring, we have Denji. In a world occupied by devils, beings that represent different fears, Denji lives in poverty, working for the Yakuza to pay off his dead father's debt. But they end up betraying and killing him. In a last-ditch effort to keep him alive, his only friend Pochita became his heart. Pochita, being the Chainsaw Devil, gave Denji his power as well, making Denji the titular Chainsaw Man. This gave him a host of abilities, from enough strength to throw cars around to chainsaws sticking out of his arms and head. And he does get much stronger as the series goes on, not to mention he is completely immortal, although there are some heavy limitations to that which I'll get into. Overall simple abilities, but ones that make him a difficult opponent. But between him and Tanjiro, who wins in a fight? Now, before I continue, this video will contain manga spoilers for both series. I will try to keep things as out of context as possible, but you're gonna hear about feats and abilities, it's just unavoidable. This fight is interesting because both of them have some very clear advantages. For one, Tanjiro is just a much more skilled fighter. This isn't even debatable. Every single fight of his, he shows exceptional talent with a blade, as well as the ability to figure out his opponent and think on the fly. Not to mention, his abilities give him a big strategic advantage. Not only can he somehow smell incoming attacks, but he also has access to something called the Transparent World, an ability that allows him to perceive his opponents as if they were see-through. This lets him see even minute things like their blood flow and muscle contractions, giving him a massive boost to how fast he can predict their attacks. This combination of skill and precognition are a huge advantage. Denji isn't a bad fighter by any means. He was trained by Kishibe, the self-proclaimed strongest devil hunter after all. However, what Denji got from those lessons was less technical skill, it seems, and more on how to be crafty in a fight, and that's the difference between Denji and Tanjiro. Tanjiro is a skilled fighter who's good at figuring out his opponent's abilities and responding accordingly. Denji, on the other hand, will lie, cheat, aim for the crotch, and butcher himself if it means winning a fight. They're both skilled, just in very different ways, and it's hard to tell exactly how that matches up. I will say though that Tanjiro's use of the Transparent World does make things a lot harder on Denji. Denji may be a deceptive character, but things like muscle contractions don't lie, and Tanjiro will be able to see through blatant moves like Denji pulled against Katana Man in Season 1. This all being said, Denji isn't without his advantages. The first is just the difference between their weapons. Now physically, Tanjiro is not weak. Again, even early on, he was able to somewhat block an attack that tore through houses. Not to mention that he counters attacks from much stronger demons as the series goes on, including Muzan himself, who could just obliterate large portions of buildings like they're nothing. But that's the thing, he has to deflect those attacks with proper technique, because if he messes up even a little bit, then the sword breaks. Katanas are famously brittle swords, and the Nichiren blades don't seem to be an exception. Tanjiro breaks his sword a lot, in fact. Now, by the end of the series, he has the skill to generally prevent this, but that won't save him here, because Denji literally brings chainsaws to a fight. And not just any chainsaws, but supernatural chainsaws empowered by fear, basically a constant rotation of tiny magic razors trying to grind him to a pulp. Any attempt to block that directly is tearing that sword apart. It basically forces Tanjiro to either go full-on attack or dodge as much as he can. Denji's other big advantage is his immortality. He can regenerate from most attacks, including decapitation. A big difference between Tanjiro and Denji is that Denji can afford to take big hits if it means landing one of his own. If they go to strike each other dead on, that's a clash that Denji likely wins. This all being said, Denji's immortality is not as great as people make it out to be. He can get torn apart a few times, but eventually he runs low on blood and he's out of commission. Like, yeah, he can be in literal pieces on the floor and still technically be alive, but if he can't get back up, then he loses the fight. There's also a potential weakness of his. In Season 1, Sawatari warns not to damage Denji's heart, as if that isn't as immortal as the rest of him. It's possible that his heart taking enough damage will kill Pochita, as well as Denji himself. And Tanjiro would absolutely aim for his heart when he realized decapitation wasn't how you killed him. With the transparent world, he would be able to see that Denji's heart is different looking and attempt to attack it as a possible weak point. But that just brings us to the main question of the video: who would manage to make the decisive blow and win the fight? Well, this comes down to a few things. For one, basic speed. During the Swordsmith Village arc, Tanjiro was able to dodge a sound-based attack while in his base form. Give him his Demon Slayer mark and he gets much faster. We're never given an exact multiplier, but with the mark, Muichiro, the Mist Hashira, went from being outsped by base Gyoko to speed blitzing full power Gyoko. So giving that same kind of amp to Tanjiro that could already dodge sound on top of the speed boost that sun breathing gives him, and we can easily say Tanjiro is well above hypersonic speeds. Now, some people do scale Tanjiro up to lightning speeds, but I personally find this inconsistent. Real lightning is used sparingly in the series, but its few appearances are not flattering to the Demon Slayers at all. Tanjiro had to be smart to fight off Hantengu's lightning, and he didn't really dodge it. When Zenitsu fought Kaigaku and real lightning was brought into the fight, Zenitsu got hit every single time. Tanjiro couldn't evade Muzan's electricity either. The only real feat we have is Mitsuri, the Love Hashira, cutting Hantengu's lightning attack. But she seems to have just swung her sword around with her eyes closed. So if you want to go with Tanjiro being faster than lightning, fair enough, but the best feat is really debatable, so I personally will not be. Denji's no slouch when it comes to speed either. Denji scales decently above Angel, who is a casual bullet timer. That's the same Angel that was almost blitzed by Quan Chi, and that's the same Quan Chi that Denji's Pochita clone defeated. It's a similar issue to Tanjiro, where we don't have any recent quantifiable feats, but we can extrapolate off of blatantly faster than sound feats to comfortably say they're several times that range. Whoever you think is faster, it's probably not by a huge margin. Overall, though, I think Tanjiro has the slight edge here. While he would most likely lose in a direct clash, he knows better than to fight risky like that. He's used to fighting beings that can regenerate and afford to take damage to land lethal hits. That's basically how Rengoku died. And not only does the transparent world give him a form of precognition, but it also reveals a potential weak spot of Denji's. Denji wouldn't go down easy for sure. He could maybe pull off a surprise attack with the use of his chains to latch onto him or get close, or by quickly extending his chainsaws from his legs, but it would at least be a really tough fight for him. Or maybe you disagree, and if that's the case, be sure to tell me why in the comments, or if I missed anything major at all. I'd personally love to hear it. In the meantime, that's the video, and I do hope you enjoyed it. If that's the case, be sure to like and subscribe. Or you can further support the channel by becoming a member like these wonderful people right here. But for now, take care and have a good one.